Now let's look at the BarricadeMX setup menu. The Setup BarricadeMX menu allows you to modify BarricadeMX data stored in the Postgres database. Once this configuration has been properly set up, it is seldom modified. When FSL installs your BMX Plus software, we will install a BarricadeMX configuration that should be appropriate for your site. The configuration items are grouped into categories that control similar tests or functions. Enabling a function by selecting the checkbox beside the configuration group will expand that group to show multiple possible settings if more than one setting exists. Clicking on an individual configuration item will show the help text associated with that configuration item. Clicking on the configuration item again will close the help text. Most configuration items are assigned a color code immediately to the left of the configuration item, which indicates how likely that configuration item is to cause false positives. Green indicates a low risk of false positives, yellow indicates some risk of false positives, and red indicates an elevated risk of false positives. And the menu at the top right of the screen can be used to load a standard configuration based on risk levels. This menu should not be used unless directed by FSL support personnel. It's important to remember that while configuration items on this menu apply to all domains hosted on the site, many of the configuration options may be overridden for individual domains by using the Setup Access Map menu. Only the most commonly accessed BarricadeMX configuration items are listed on this menu. All of the possible BarricadeMX configuration items may be accessed by scrolling to the bottom of the screen and selecting the Advanced Configuration link. The Advanced Configuration screen will show all of the possible configuration items in alphabetical order. No changes to the configuration will occur until the Save and Restart button at the bottom of the screen is selected. Full and very complete documentation for the configuration file is available from www.snertsoft.com. Select Solutions, select BarricadeMX, and then select the SMTPF configuration file. Now let's examine the Setup Mailscanner menu. We're currently logged in as the Super Administrator, so any changes made to the Setup Mailscanner menu by the Super Administrator will affect only the default domain. This menu provides an interface to easily modify just over 120 of the most commonly changed Mailscanner configuration variables. Access to the rest of the over 350 Mailscanner configuration variables is available by directly accessing the Postgres database. Creating a new domain will copy the existing default configuration variables as the new domain's Mailscanner configuration values. At that point, any connection between the default domain and the new domain's configuration is broken. Further changes to the default domain's configuration will not be mirrored to any of the already created domains. However, white and black list entries that are associated with the default domain will be used by all domains hosted by the BarricadeMX gateways. We've already seen how the Super Administrator can modify the default Mailscanner configuration by selecting the Setup Domains menu and then selecting the config link for the default domain. And we've also seen how the Super Administrator or a domain administrator can modify the default Mailscanner configuration for a specific domain by selecting the Setup Domains menus and then selecting the configuration link for the domain to be modified. Since we have already covered how the Mailscanner configuration menu is used in the Setup Domain portion of this demo, let's move ahead to review the Setup Spamassassin menu. This Spamassassin menu is used only when BarricadeMX passes messages to a Spamassassin SpamD daemon for scanning before the message is accepted for delivery. Since most sites will use Spamassassin as called by Mailscanner only after messages have been accepted for delivery, most sites will not use this menu option. The Setup Relays menu is used to add the IP addresses of systems that should be allowed to relay mail to the Internet through the BarricadeMX gateway or gateway cluster. Systems that are designated as mail hubs are automatically allowed to relay through the BarricadeMX gateways, so it is not necessary to add these systems to this relay map. Adding a system that is allowed to relay is as simple as adding a valid IP address or an IP range to the text box and selecting Add. As an example, let's add the IP address 192.168.123.22. Once added, the system will be allowed to relay. Now let's add the Class C address 10.1.1 to the list of IP addresses that will be allowed to relay. Once added, this will allow any system on the 10.1.1 subnet to relay to the Internet through this gateway. The setup access map is used to manage a variety of Barricade MX configurations such as black and white listing, message limits and sizes, concurrent connections, and rate throttling. Many of these settings can be specified by IP, subnet, hostname, and/or sender and recipient address or domain. The access map is composed of key value pairs. Each map entry consists of a key field and a value field. The key portion of the entry consists of a tag and a lookup, separated by a colon. Tags specify a specific function that the value is applied to when the lookup is matched. And the value portion specifies the action that should be taken when the key lookup value is matched. This sounds a lot more complicated than it really is, so let's look at the access map entry for a tag equals connect, a lookup equal to 123.66.68.100, and a value equals reject. So this access map entry would be key equals connect colon 123.66.68.100, and the value would equal reject. And the result of adding this rule would be that any connection from 123.66.68.100 would be rejected. And contrast that entry with this one. The key is from spammer.com, and the value equals reject. This would have the effect of rejecting any email sent from an email address ending in spammer.com. This could include addresses like steve@spammer.com as well as mary@goodspammer.com. This is just a quick overview of how simple access map entries work. They can be very powerful tools which allow you flexible control of email on a domain-by-domain basis. And for complete documentation on all possible tags, lookups, and values, please go to www.snrtsoft and then select Solutions, then select Barricade MX, and then select the access map. The Backup and Restore menu allows you to take backups of the system, download these backups to your local system, and restore any of the previous backups. System backups and saving these backups to other systems or tape can also be fully automated using cron jobs. And finally, the Setup menu license allows you to install a new Barricade MX Plus license key by simply pasting the new key into the text box and saving the entry. So we'll log out for now. Thanks for watching, and remember that additional information can be found at our website at www.fsl.com or by sending an email to info@fsl.com.